Put This On, Season 7, Episode 32, where we watch Nathan For You, Season 3, Episode 2. And there was a time I could podcast in another position, but as I got fatter and older, that's pretty much it. I'm Chris Lorenz.
No offense, but nobody's going to remember you for those things. This is Brian.
What's your favorite position? Guy on top, girl on bottom. This is Noah Fielder taking Max's position.
All right. Those are all references to the show we watched this week, or at least quotes from the show we watched. Last week we watched what did we watch? Space Cadets.
Who put that on?
Who put that on? We put a poll on Twitter at Who Put This On to see what you guys thought. You guys thought it was a middle third show. There is one thing we should touch on about that show at the end that we didn't talk about. But
wait, that's too much of a cliffhanger. Well, let's get it.
So what do you mean? We're teasing up the end. What do you mean?
All right. Listen along with them.
Listen to the end or skip to the end, whatever you want. Brian, Noah, what was the show we watched this week?
Writer, director, and comedian Nathan Fielder, known from CBC's This Hour Has 22 Minutes, also has a business degree. And he combines that knowledge with his unusual life experiences to help struggling small businesses boost their sales. However, Fielder's marketing campaigns for each business can best be described as unorthodox, to the point where no traditional sales consultant would ever attempt what he does. Episodes in this docu-reality comedy include Fielder creating a distinctly smelling flavor for a yogurt shop, devising a plan for a pizzeria to guarantee delivery in 8 minutes or less, and finding a way for a gas station to charge less than $2 a gallon and still be successful. That's Nathan For You, formerly on Comedy Central, now available on Hulu.
And HBO.
Oh, it's on HBO too? Oh.
Yeah, we watched it on HBO.
Oh, interesting. Watch it on Hulu. What do you know?
So I've seen some of the show before. Noah, you clearly love this show.
I'm a fanboy. Like, fanboy to the 9th degree. Yeah.
Brian, what is your familiarity with the show?
I've seen episodes of the show before, and then TikTok started showing me parts of the episodes, and I got hooked again.
So you've seen a lot.
I've seen a bit. I wouldn't say I've seen a lot. Like, I think Noah burned through the entire thing. I've seen like a few episodes.
No. So I've watched the full season twice.
My God.
Full show twice?
4 seasons, yeah.
4 seasons twice. Okay. Yeah. I heard all seasons.
There's 4. Well,
yeah. For all 4 seasons twice. So let's talk about this specific episode, then we can get more into general feelings. But for now, let's talk about the first story, which was a horse riding company. And Nathan's idea is so you have a max weight for this horse riding company of 220. And he's like, what if you could get everyone involved if we got a helium balloon and attach it to your customers so that they would meet the weight requirements to be on this horse? And I'm not sure how this really helps their business a lot, but there's like this shtick Nathan goes through in this particular like thing where he's just like, everyone has to be able to do everything. And like, he really sticks to this. This is why he's doing it. It's not for this business to make any more money. It's so that fat people can ride a horse. And like, this seems like a weird shtick for him. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, he kind of plays like a social angle a lot in this one, but generally his shtick is you do this crazy idea and it expands your market, right, to some unexploited niche. And so it sticks to the playbook here, right? Like, if you think of so one of his classic ones is poop flavored yogurt, right? And so I think it sticks to there, but kind of the edit here, he kind of seems like a social warrior to a degree, which is a weird edit.
He seems like kind of a dick.
I mean, he always seems like kind of a dick.
That's fair. That's fair. But so in this particular section, they get weather balloons. They get 3 weather balloons and like put it on like a somewhat volunteer of a guy, and then he comes up with solutions to quote unquote problems that are very absurd. Like there's trees in the way, so they will pop weather balloons. So they have like a guy on an ATV blocking the like trees with a big giant paddle. Brian,
Amazing.
what other problem did they have, Brian?
So birds could also potentially be a problem and pop the balloons. So at first Nathan wanted to go and find a way to stun the birds. Like
Oh yeah.
he went to a gun shop and asked for a stun gun, but this was not that type of gun shop. And in describing the situation to this shop owner, the owner's like, "What the hell are you doing? You're absurd."
Yeah, it was a very humorous segment.
Yep.
Yeah. The gun shop owner is great. He's like, nah, I don't think everyone should be able to do everything. I just don't agree with
Well, that's like his shtick. That's why I feel like the shtick really landed because he did the shtick at the gun place.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the eventual solution was to pop a scarecrow in a drone. Done. I don't know why we had to think about it even further.
I mean, the drone only battery only lasts so long.
No, it's a DJI. I think they're good to go.
They're not good to go for a decently long horse ride.
You're gonna need several of them. Like, you gotta like keep hot charging them.
Yeah.
hot charge. Get ready. Get the other one ready. It doesn't seem like it would be profitable to do this. The
No,
amount of helium, they needed 60 pounds of helium.
that's so much.
Is that a lot? I don't know.
I mean, I have to imagine that seems like a lot.
Helium is like kind of weightless. Like it floats up and it's supposed to like push you up. So like imagine what 60 pounds of it is.
Let's go. I'll go in the corner.
Well, I think helium, at least for a long time now, has been like really cheap because the government is selling off its helium reserves.
What? We have a helium reserve?
Well,
Yeah.
we did.
Why? Why would we have a helium? Like, what's that?
I don't know what to tell you. Go to TikTok.
They're-
You'll find out.
And there are much better uses for helium. Like we're already like in like a decline for it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's heavily
I
used for
might
science.
it might be gone at this point. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So at the time of this filming, it might have been really cheap. So I don't know. But anyway, and then to have an ATV follow them with drones and this like tree blocker, there's no way this would work for a business unless you're charging this guy like I don't know how much, like enough money where he wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, like this one's a little weird, right? Because generally his ideas, they definitely bring in money, but they're usually like this like flash pan. You know, it's like some
It's like a Groupon
unusual thing. Yeah.
It's like a Groupon. Like they get people to come in, but then you lose a bunch of money because like all these people came in and like weren't like great customers and never come back.
Yep, exactly.
Which we could get into other episodes later because I've seen some other ones.
Yeah,
but
some of the stuff is more clever, like the basically like the fans, like the hand fans, kind of large hand fans to block the trees. Like that's just hilarious, and actually produce them and get them out there. That was great.
So at the end of the segment, he's talking to like the person that runs his business, and he's like, "You'll be remembered for this. You let the first fat person on a horse." And she's like, "Well, I hope I remember for winning championships at horse riding." And Nathan really he's a giant ass dick in this situation, and I don't understand what's going on here. But he says, "No, you're going to remember for this. Legacy is not something you choose." And that's the end of conversation, and walks the fuck away.
that dickishness is just kind of funny. Yeah. Like he is completely asshole. Don't get me wrong, but
he's
knowing that like,
such
for a TV show, yeah, he really is, and that's where my quote came from. Like nobody's gonna remember you for these things.
No, it's great content, right? Like to just totally say, nah. I've known you for about 36 hours, and well, this is what your legacy is gonna be.
Yeah, this is it. You're good at this now.
Yeah, but it plays into like the character he's playing, which is supposed to be this like all-knowing business consultant, right? And so I think for him to hold his ground there, I'm like, I know what is best for your business because I've been here for 36 hours and you've been here for 36 years. Like, suck it.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I can see that. I just don't really. I didn't really like that segment, and I didn't find it funny. But
Well, I guess like, do you view Nathan as a character in the show, or as Nathan person, real person, human?
I think he swings back and forth between like characters,
Mm.
and like his dickish character is like I feel like that's a different character than his clueless character. While he's like, "This is great for your business. This will be like that's clueless," and him in my mind. And like I guess this could be considered. It just feels different to me when he's like. It feels like it comes out of nowhere when he's like a giant dick.
Mm.
To me personally.
Yeah, yeah. No, he definitely plays clueless more, right? But it's weird. It's like this very strange balance because like he's clueless, but he also comes in with very strong proposals, and he convinces these people to do it, right? So he's clueless at like a very like I don't know if it's clueless, but like childish. I'd say like childish imagination.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a different Nathan when he convinces these business people to the dick Nathan that you see occasionally. Not every story is he a dick.
Not every story, but I think it also depends on who he's playing off of, right? And like the questions they bring up, right? Like, because I think if they really push him on the idea, he has to hold to the bit to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to. So we'll skip the second one because they intercut the second one with a third story. So let's just
Okay.
go to the third story and we'll come back to the second story. So the third story was a women's clothing store, and he
Mhm.
comes in and he's like, "Yeah, when couples come in to a women's clothing store, the guy looks bored and gets the women to leave before they've done their shopping. So his idea is to make a man zone. So when the couple comes in, the men can go to the man zone and the women can be out here shopping longer, hopefully buying more garments." Brian, what do you think about this idea?
I thought this was an amazing idea. I thought that it was very inspirational. Everybody wants a spot to hang out. It's like, all right, I
Yeah.
can go chill here while somebody else is doing their thing.
Noah, what can you tell me what the man zone was in this store?
So they had like an backroom storage area. Seemed like maybe like a 10 by 10 room, right? So not terribly large. And they created what like a 14-year-old boy would imagine an adult man's zone would look like. Um, they had a bear rug, so with the bear head and the fur skin laying out. They had a Doug Flutie poster. They had two recliners and a couch. They had a beer fridge. They had a TV playing NFL, well, not NFL, football clips.
It was royalty free football.
Yeah, royalty free football. They had guns hanging on the wall. Yeah, it really feels like you go up to a kid and be like, hey, make a man room. That's what he produces.
Exactly. And that's what made it so good.
I think the one major thing, I mean, like I agree with you. It seems a lot of it seems childish, but as a 14-year-old guy, I definitely want some video games in this man room.
That's true.
Like there'd be video. I think no matter what man zone you're making, video games need to be like. There's got to be a pinball machine or a Pac-Man machine in there or something.
Yeah, I think the room is too small for an arcade box, like the whole cabinet, right? Or even a pinball, right? Double that. But I think you're totally right. At least like you got to get a console and some controllers, right, hooked up.
Like I feel like there might what women's stores might consider a man zone is just putting up like an arcade machine somewhere. Like I'm sure that exists in certain like stores.
I mean, I think you hit on the head though. Like if you just put up a TV with, even if you get like a Sega Genesis with that, what was it? There's like a God mode, like expansion pack you can get. Remember, there's like the guy with his hands up, and you can kind of just like go ham on all these games. I don't know, or you buy one of the newer.
There's a larger percentage of people that would be excited about that. There's
Yeah.
right.
Totally.
So I think that's if you're gonna make a Man Zone, that's what I think you should do is put some sort of arcade or video game setup.
You're definitely right. Get games and drinks. Like you get soda, you get beer, and probably some. They had food there, but no one went for the food. But that might be the editing.
Yeah. So that's my big critique about this Man Zone is like obviously it's too like country back in the woods kind of vibe with all the hunting shit. But add some video games back in there, good to go. It's also a little
he set it up to fail because
for sure. I was going to talk about that.
So we got 4 walls in this Man Zone, right? One wall is a TV. The back wall is like a sofa, like a 3-seat couch, and then on the 2 walls left, there's like a recliner on each wall, and they sit on the recliners on each wall, so they're awkwardly staring directly at each other rather than sitting 90 degrees from each other, which would be much more natural. So you're not maintaining eye contact, which just breeds awkwardness.
Well, it is. I mean, that's what he wants, though. Like Nathan wants, like the awkward like footage. This is what this whole thing is designed for. So what happens is a couple comes in. The guy goes into the Man Zone, sits down. Nathan sits down across from him and just like awkwardly talks to him. And then the guy just is like, I don't want to awkwardly talk to you anymore and leaves. Like it's very awkward. There's at least with the first one, he leaves within 4 minutes.
Right.
And they get out of there.
I wonder how many edits they did because like both edits they got, or there's only 2 people they showed it's going in.
3 people. They showed 3 people.
They showed 3?
Yeah. So they show the one got 4 minutes guy. Yeah. Then the next guy, Nathan's big idea is to, let's talk about sex and the Man Zone. So he stays for 17 minutes. And then after he leaves, they show a clip of a guy saying what I said at the beginning, which is my funny quote, which was, there was a time I could ejaculate in another position.
Oh, I forgot.
I got fatter and older. That's pretty much it.
I forgot about it. Yeah, because that was it.
It was literally, he was on the screen. There was no setup. There's no payoff. That's it.
Yeah, but I wonder how many people went in and actually sat on the couch. So I think if you sit in the back of the room, you're at that 90-degree angle.
It's not designed for that. It's designed so that Nathan can sit across from them no matter where they sit.
No, they wouldn't. That's by definition not true. If they went to the back couch.
Yeah, then he just takes the futon. He just takes his chair and moves it.
I don't know. Was that possible? Maybe.
Anyway,
the beer throw. Can you go over the beer throw? That is
Brian, go over the beer throw.
So he pulled it out. He did a little twirl with the can, tried to roll it up his arm, and then would toss it over, which is exactly what you want when you're tossing your buddy Natty Ice.
We didn't talk about the Natty Light. It wasn't Natty Light.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was Natty Light.
I mean, that's what you get when you get free beer. Like you're not if you're paying for beer, then we could talk about the good stuff.
I mean, I'm fine with Natty Light. I just not fine with it being shaken up.
Yeah, I know. Well, so the first guy, he hits elbow, catches it, tosses it. And that's a little shaken. That's not too bad.
That's pretty good.
But the sex combo guy, he just literally drops on the floor and shakes it, and then tosses it to him, and the guy still opens it. I'm like, I ain't open this. I'll get my own.
I think
it's like a guy that's never opened a can of beer before.
If you're in that room, you're looking for anything to make it a little more bearable. So you're like, I'm just doing this. I don't care if it's shaking.
I mean, it gets right into this whole sex conversation though. It's so awkward. It seems really awkward for somebody to come up to me like, "Hey, what's your favorite sexual position?" When you met this guy for 2 minutes. He handed you a beer.
It's just so funny how he opens it hey, do you know what's really good?
exactly how a kid would say it.
Yeah, it's such like yeah. Have you done that before? Oh yeah, all the time, man, all the time.
I want more sex. Like the guy comes in, he's very stereotypical, like, plays the guys only want sex and they want it all the time.
Guy on top, girl on the bottom. It's Nathan's.
Yeah, they go over like sex positions and stuff, and Nathan is like equally awkward. This is what I call the most awkward part of the show. Is them in this back room, which is saying a lot because like most of it's awkward, but this next level awkward.
Next level, and it's perfect. Like that's what you want from Nathan for you. It's Curb Your Enthusiasm mixed with reality TV.
I also wonder, do they have permits to drink beer in the store? Like, what are our permitting situations look like?
Well, I think that's why our lovely store owner was very upset. So after Sex Dude came out, his wife was like, "Wait, you had a beer? Yeah, just drank a beer back there." Like they left, and then the store owner was like, "You're drinking beer back there? What the hell? No.
I mean, yeah, there's some serious shit.
Yeah.
That's not going to help business, getting a fine for drinking. You don't have a drinking permit.
I mean, it's free publicity,
Well, the show is at this point.
Yeah, but I think this plays into like the overall thing. Like Nathan proposes, like on the surface, it's like a decent idea, right? Like, oh, expand your market, get more people to ride your horsies, as Nathan says it. Or hey,
that was a terrible idea.
The horsies?
Yeah, that was a terrible idea.
And no, but like the execution, but the concept of expand your market.
Yeah, are you
very
like
reasonable?
Is this the first weekend in NBA? Oh, expand your market. Oh, how do we do that? We spend hundreds of dollars on helium and ATV following to like there's no other way around getting heavier. Like,
but that's how he does it, right? Because he starts off with this premise that's like, yes, the premise makes sense. The execution is apeshit, but it's like the horse thing. People are overweight. Get the overweight people on your horses. Cool, that makes sense. And then you're like, well, why are you arguing about the how? Let's try the how. And then with the store, men come in the store, they get bored. Yeah, that sounds right. And the how is crazy. Like, but that's his continual thing, right? It's like it's a really good idea. The execution is.
Well, I feel like the how in the second situation was much more reasonable than the how in the first one.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. Like leaps and bounds, much more reasonable.
All right, let's get into our third situation, which we'll entitled Taiga. So he wears this jacket in the show that's a Taiga like windbreaker, and apparently Taiga like had some sort of ad in their magazine that was like for a Holocaust denier, and like there was some sort of drama around this Holocaust denier situation. So Nathan goes out and designs his own brand, Summit Ice, that he like designed his own windbreaker, and so in order to counteract this Taiga situation, he's decided to make a pro Holocaust brand, Summit Ice, that promotes Holocaust awareness. Brian, how does a brand do Holocaust awareness?
By just saying it's real. Like, seriously, they had a really, really good site, and they also had so they vetted their model and just be like, oh yeah, so
well, the vetting process is a little off.
But that's how they got the quote. That's on their site. 6 million Jews died.
Yeah, you can go to, what's the website? SummitIce.com?
SummitIceApparel.com.
SummitIceApparel.com. You can go look at the site, see the jacket.
I love that they're still paying the hosting fees for this.
You can still order it. I was like kind of going through it. I'm like,
I'm surprised. I really thought you guys were going to buy me baby clothing from this. Like you missed it by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I didn't.
I really thought that was coming in the mail at some point.
So that's why you didn't buy it yourself.
I mean, No, it's much more at a price point where it's a gift. Not really.
I mean, especially when you just had kids. Anyway, I think that the like final way that they try to show off the Holocaust is to get a store and they say, "Hey, we got a display we want at the store," and it's just like there's like a full SS out uniform
Oh yeah.
and like pictures of the Holocaust next to the jackets as like this is how they're portraying Holocaust as like awareness that like the guy that sets it up is like a rabbi and he's like, yeah, I look at it and I feel uncomfortable. And that's what you should feel uncomfortable with the Holocaust. And that's how they're trying to promote Holocaust awareness in general. Noah, what did the store owner have to say about this display?
So this is why. So to give a little backstory to the audience, right? We were talking last like what would be a good Nathan for You episode, and there's some like episodes that stand out. So the poop tasting frozen yogurt is an early one, by far the most famous one, and one that got the most press is like Dumb Starbucks.
Yeah, we'll talk about these after we're done with this episode.
Cool. But I think we landed on this one because of this segment specifically. Like the idea of the Holocaust awareness and like the setup in a retail store is over the top with the ovens and the Arbeit Macht Frei. Like it's just
it was over. It was over. It looked like you might have been at like the terrible version of like a Nazi museum,
right.
like
yeah,
like the whatever the one is in Washington D.C. I forget what they call it.
Yep,
Holocaust,
the Holocaust Museum, or like the one in this Berlin and Israel, of course. But like the retail owner, he kind of just like brings it home. He's like, "You guys know nothing about retail. You're clueless. No one should ever trust your judgment on this."
he was like, you both of you have no judgment. Not that you have like, bad judgment, you have no judgment.
He's just so this guy is like, if you had to draw out what a surfer dude who owned a clothing store would look like, and the vibe of him, like chill and laid back and easygoing. He's like, yo, bruh. And then he just comes in, he's like, he then comes like NBA surfer dude. He's like,
well, let's be clear here. He's 100% right.
Like, oh yeah,
you cannot have this display in your store.
No.
He is totally right. Like surfer dude, but like usually the people on the show, they like try to, oh, I see what you're trying to do, but no, surfer NBA, he goes full NBA and surfer accent, and he's like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that like Nathan's usually pretty successful and like actually gets his ideas to like go off, at least, you know, the handful of episodes I've seen. Whereas this time, like the store is not opening. Well, yeah. I'm sure Nathan knew that from we're going to have a Holocaust display and that was his goal, but you know, it's definitely not tasteful. It's designed to be uncomfortable, but you don't want to be uncomfortable in a store to buy, you know, coats.
I just don't think they imagined Surfer NBA to be as articulate and astute and grounded. Like he just like was like, no, this isn't an argument. I know enough. You guys are clueless. Where most episodes, he'll get the store open. He's like, look, just try it. Believe me, it's okay. We got the cameras here. It's going to be good for publicity. And Surfer Bro NBA is like, credit to him. He just knows his shit. And he's like, I get it. This is terrible. This is terrible.
The doors are staying closed until this goes away.
Yeah. He is businessman of the year. Like, that guy's got his shit down.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was one of the shortest segments on the show, it seems.
Yeah.
It seems like they took like 2 segments, the horse one and the man cave story, and shortened them quite a little bit, and then, you know, like interjected this one in there.
So after we said we're going to do this episode because Summit Ice was so memorable, and obviously you can still buy the merch. It was interesting watching this again because it's a very unusual episode where they usually do 2 business stories at most, and Nathan gets to see it through. And this seems like the chopping block episode
for sure.
Yeah. Like, I definitely remember one of the clips I saw was like much better execution where dude did some really good chili, wants to bring it into a hockey game or like start selling at a hockey game. They won't let him sell it. They just said, "Oh, we have our own vendors."
Yeah.
So then they come with the whole thing to just get chili inside the door.
I think I did see that part of that clip on TikTok, and I was annoyed because it was in like 3 segments or something.
Yeah,
Like I'm not watching 3 segments.
that's a lot.
And like Nathan For You didn't like upload that video.
No, I think I saw it in the Nathan For You channel.
Yeah, but can't anyone just make a Nathan For You channel?
I think it's like the same as like anything else. Like you're gonna have like some like unofficial one, but like the official ones are probably gonna be claimed by people, like the people that actually have it. Like
anyway, that's like kind of the end of the episode when this guy yells at him, and there's definitely points where I'm like, this is great, but then there's a lot of points where I'm like, I don't know about the show, because I've definitely was like, oh, I'm gonna love the show, and I started watching it, and at some point I just kind of stop, and I'm like, I'm like, Nathan in this show particularly just feels all over the place to me, whereas like giving him purpose in his other show, like really, like I feel like reined him in a bit and like put him on like a path that I thought was great. And I don't think this like random businesses tends to be what I find all that entertaining. Like there's parts that are and parts that aren't. Because like right before Brian came over, I was watching a different episode where they did a taxi service and a hot dog stand, which was one of the episodes. And like the hot dog stand one was like, his idea was you could skip the line, but like you had to be interviewed, and like the one guy skipped the line and didn't have lied about his doctor's appointment. So now it's about like proving this guy that he's an asshole. And I'm just like, wait, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And it was just like he went on they said he was going to go on a boat for like a one person like lobster dinner or something. I'm just like, you find the biggest idiot in the world that like I just like don't care about this guy, and Nathan's not making me care about him. Like Nathan's pissed off that he lied, and I'm like, people are gonna lie, bro. Move on with your life. Like it doesn't matter. And that's the kind of stuff that happens in the show. Is just like, okay, I get it. They're hiking up this mountain so they can get their like they can redeem this like thing for gas. I'm like, okay, great. I just like, I don't know. That's what these kind of things go into in the show that I don't particularly like.
This is the taxi company that tries to get people to talk. Like they want like the friendly taxi drivers.
No, the taxi company was his idea for the taxi company was free rides to 3rd trimester pregnancies. Yeah. So he sees on the internet that there's a bunch of stories when somebody gets pregnant and who's pregnant and has a baby in a cab. So he was like trying to get that to happen. Then he swung to like, okay, we'll pre-set it up. So we'll ask this person if they want to have their baby in our cab that like has like a midwife there to help. And then like this is also is like I thought was really weird. Like Nathan's just like, this bit's over. It's not working. I got to get out of this. But the taxi driver company was like, no, I'm all in. Let's do this. This sounds a great idea. Like that woman didn't work out. Let's get another woman. And Nathan turns to me, Nathan, and he's just like, it's not going to work. Forget it. I'm moving on. And it's like, sure, your bit's not working and you got enough footage to move on. I get it.
Yeah.
But this like dynamic of like, oh, this is a great idea, we should all do it, and then he just like flips a switch and then it's over. It doesn't fit with the character I think he's trying to portray.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely do abandon things pretty quickly if they're like, okay, we got it, bye.
But I can see why I do think moments in the show are very funny.
Yeah. Total detour. Fun fact: the theme song for this TV show is used in lots of media. I did not know this.
Fun fact.
It was used in Euro Cup, Summer Olympics, Rugby World Cup, Top Gear, The Masked Singer.
Cool.
Like this song has gotten real good royalty fees coming in.
Okay. Noah, give me your like what makes you like the show so much. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Give me some episodes that are great. Yeah.
So
let it all out.
I like Nathan for like so for listeners of the pod, Jury Duty was a top show for me, right? Like I love like Curb, top show for me in the same genre. I like things where people encounter the awkward, they embrace it, they keep going in. This show hits it on the head, right? And it's creative awkwardness, right? It's not things you would easily think up sitting on the couch. And so that's why I eat up what Nathan dishes up consistently.
Dishes up. I think one thing we would be remiss to talk about if we didn't, which is the dumb Starbucks thing. So like there was like one of his episodes, he makes a fake Starbucks where he just makes a new Starbucks logo and calls it dumb and says it's a parody. And then like it hits the news that there's this dumb Starbucks like without any relation to the show. Like it was huge. I remember hearing about it and like the line was down the street or whatever. And no one knew it was a Nathan For You until like probably a couple days later. People were like, oh, remember that thing that was for this TV show, which was like a massive hit for him.
Yeah.
Like whatever money they had to pay to Starbucks or whatever, if they had to pay anything, I don't know. It was a massive hit.
Yeah. I don't think anything. Like there's another one, which is like, this is probably the most over the top one where like they really dig into the awkwardness. And this is even like makes me a bit awkward, which is saying a lot. So Nathan sets up this machine that will pull down his pants in front of children, getting him arrested as a pedophile and then listed as a sex offender. But he can escape this if he can get himself out of handcuffs like a magician in time. And they get to a set and they bring children on and the machine is like unzipping his butt. Like he really pushes it on the awkward. Like when you start bringing children in, you have to like get them and be like, hey, this man is going to expose himself to you. That's part of the premise. Like he's pushing it.
Brian, what about your other relationships with the show? Like, have you like wanted to watch more and you just haven't? Like, what's going on with you?
I mean, it's a very chill show. I just haven't really explored watching more. Like I explored it with like the TikToks for some reason, so my vote is going to be that it's better as a TikTok.
3 TikToks.
Well, like even like the one TikTok, I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is pretty funny, and I get my giggles, and then I can either like continue with it or move on.
My giggles.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it just because he's super awkward. That's also why I kind of like the rehearsal too. Like there were super absurd ideas, and
I think he's just so much more focused in the rehearsal.
He really is. I mean, he's focused.
Yeah, like, it's very different.
Should we get
there's another episode. I'm looking at all the episodes and I'm like looking at. I'm like, all right, that one. There's one that's really great. So he advertises like you can get a TV for like $1, right? Like a brand new TV. And it's like the fine print or the asterisk is these people have to go hike a mountain in the coupon for the TVs at the top of the mountain. So he drives these people out 4 hours.
I thought this was the gas one. He did this for gasoline.
Oh, is that gas? I thought
It was gasoline. It was like $2 gas. It was like $2 gasoline, but then you had to come back for your rebate at a later date, and had to hike up a mountain to like get your rebate.
Then you're, because I'm reading like super short clips on Wikipedia. I was like, oh, that sounds
He might have done it twice. I don't know.
Yeah,
I doubt that. But
another good one is he sets up a play where you're not allowed to smoke inside in California, but if you're part of the show and your character needs to smoke in the show, then you can smoke inside.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That seems like a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to some questions. You can get your last word in on some shows later. Let's see. Who's the worst human being? And we obviously know it's Nathan Fielder.
Yep.
Like that's not.
I mean, he's pretty bad, dude. Like, despite him like being like helpful,
he's obviously bad.
He brings me so much joy, though.
Yeah, he could be the worst human. You can laugh at bad people.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, he's doing this for this bit in the show. He's not doing it to help anyone but himself.
But can someone bad bring me joy?
Yes. You know, that's up to you and your God, okay? So let's do drinking rules, because you know, this is a good one. Brian, what do you think is a good drinking rule?
Every time anytime somebody stares at Nathan with a blank stare, you got to take a drink.
Noah.
Anytime Nathan stares at someone else with a blank stare, take a drink.
Anytime the business owner is like, how's that going to work? Or what are you doing back there? Take a drink. Anyone else have any other ones?
Anytime Nathan brings up that he's Canadian, take a drink.
What, you got Jewish in there?
He doesn't bring up Jewish that much. He actually doesn't bring up Canadian too much either. But I think Canadian.
Why don't you throw Jewish in there just for shits and giggles?
For the shits and giggles, throw it.
You can take 2 for that.
Throw it in. Yeah.
I do think that we have to you take a drink every time Nathan is just a complete dick.
Yes.
Like, just telling this person that the championships she won were like worthless. You're being a complete dick there.
Yeah.
Drink every time one of his projects are successful.
Ooh.
Which they were all successful today.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Take a drink every time they use Craigslist to get people in.
There you go. Would this show be better as a Quibi or TikTok?
Yes.
I would argue the show is practically a Quibi. Like, one of their segments in this episode particularly, it's 3 Quibis.
That's fair.
Would it be better that way? Not necessarily.
Hmm.
But like, I'd argue it could be 1-1.
Do you think we're the only podcast in the world now that still talks about Quibi on a regular basis?
Yes.
It's almost our inside joke now. Could be somebody else's inside joke.
I feel like someone's going to listen to this podcast and be like,
what's a Quibi?
Quibi.
I mean, the further we get, the more we talk about, the longer we talk about it, the more likelihood that's going to happen.
They're going to be like, wait, it's not a Roku original? They're not original?
Roku original? All right. I think we pretty much did what we love about the show. Should we do ratings? You got any other minutia we need to go into?
I think if you have purchased a Summit Ice apparel item, please tweet at us. Wear it. We want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, just tweet us a photo.
Yeah.
You'll get a shout out on the podcast.
Yes.
So we do on our rating system, we do top, middle, bottom, third compared to other reality shows. Some people stack rank in their stack ranks. Brian, what do you got for me?
I'm gonna put this in the top but bottom of the top. I love Nathan Fielder. He's awkward. Now I think now I gotta actually pick it up and watch the full thing.
I mean, it's on HBO and Hulu.
Yeah.
Like,
And Paramount. I was looking. It's on a lot.
They're just like, hey, you want this for free?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because like it's in this weird like mix between like Comedy Central, which is clearly
Paramount.
Paramount, right? But somehow Hulu has the rights to it. Yeah,
I mean, rights. They just have like the license.
Yeah, it is weird though how they divvied this one up, right? Because like South Park, in contrast, even though South Park much more lucrative, like that's like super siphoned off, right? You have like Paramount with a few episodes, like the specials, and
No, Paramount has the movies. HBO has the show.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, Noah, what's your rating?
I mean, you guys know what it is. Top of the top. Like, there are a few things I watch completely. There are a few things I watch completely twice.
Twice?
That's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very easy. This is so up my alley. That said, this episode, even though I remember it so specifically for Summit Ice, if we were judging this episode on its own, I think it would not. It might break the top. Like it would break the top, probably top of the bottom, just because I love the awkwardness of it. But it's definitely not the finest of his craft.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna buck the trend a little bit. I'm gonna put it in the middle. I think the show is good, but I think that his bits and where he takes the bits can be a little annoying. This is not just based on this particular episode. I think this particular episode is actually pretty good. I might put it in the top for this particular episode, but for other episodes and like trying to watch more, I just get kind of annoyed with Nathan in the show. Like he doesn't like his again. You know why. You've told it all already. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And then tell us what you thought about the show on Twitter at Who Put This On. They're still letting us do polls there. I don't know what the fuck Elon is doing, so who knows what's going on there.
We might have a blue check mark by now. We might not. We don't
oh, God, I don't know. So you can tell us what you thought was top, middle, or bottom third.
I'm shutting off your corporate credit card.
Don't follow those fake Who Put Those On.
Elon, can you just pony up for us? You can find us on, we'll talk about Facebook and emails later, but you can email us questions, suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. Let's go over the teaser for Space Cadets that I teased at the beginning of the episode.
You did tease. You said there was something.
So what we didn't talk about last week, which I thought was pretty compelling that we missed, is some people have said that Space Cadets might be like a reverse joke where like everyone on the show is involved in it, and now the viewers are like out of the joke because everyone else on the show was in on like they're just like
that's a
that's a sitcom.
they're like, well, it's like a double practical joke almost. That like the viewers are being pranked by watching the show versus the people in the show being pranked on.
Is there any credibility to this, or is this just like some random Reddit thing?
I mean, it's on Wikipedia.
Really?
There's also somebody on TikTok randomly talked about this show. So,
but it made it to the Wikipedia?
I think so.
Ooh.
There's probably an article for the source. We should go check that out.
Well, I'm just saying that it is a theory out there that the viewers are also being pranked on. Because how could somebody think they're in space? Like they have to be the most idiotic people.
I don't think so. Like you don't know what space looks like.
No, I know what space is gonna feel like, and it doesn't feel like being in England.
Do you? You don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel weightless. People's hair is gonna act different. Like the physics are literally different.
I didn't finish the series. When they say they're in space, they're not at 0 G.
They can't be. They're in England.
I don't know. I just don't know. Like I don't.
I'm just saying, if somebody tells me I'm going to outer space, the number one thing I'm ready, I like really want to experience is weightlessness. Like,
Yeah.
and if you tell me I'm going to space and there's still gravity, I'm gonna know I'm not in space.
This kind of crosses with jury duty, right? Like you have zero priors. You just like you have like fourth hand references. I think there's a world, unless you're so paranoid, where you could be like, hey, I know you're experiencing you expect 0G, but you know, like only the best equipment gets 0G. Like
Yeah, I'm just saying you got to be a certain level of gullible or like not knowledgeable enough, or like you're just not thinking all the way through the situation. I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of lie they gave them.
Well, they did like the whole like psychological thing to see how gullible you were.
No, I know. We talked about that. But we didn't talk
Yeah.
we just didn't talk about the double pair parody might be like set up on you. But
what do you think? Based on your
I mean, I don't think that's true. I think I think they found some gullible people and the show is mean and I refuse to watch any more of it. Which gets me to another update. I watched a bunch more Jury Duty.
Me too.
Me too.
And I thought that show got real boring, real quick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought the first 2 or 3 episodes had some really funny moments, and then the last, I didn't even watch the final episode. The last 4 were just like really boring. Sitting watching people in jury do like watching this court case where we don't even know what's going on because they don't explain it at all, and they're expecting me to care, and I was just like, I don't care, and there's no funny things happening. Like there's like a bit where like the guy breaks up with his girlfriend and starts dating somebody on the jury, and that was like the last funny thing that happened on that show.
I'm not that far along. I'm like at episode 4, I think, and like they just went to Margaritaville, and like that, like to at least to that point, the whole Jorf shirt thing, like I was like, okay, I like.
I mean, there's like it goes down and down and down because what's his name is just like I think his radar starts going up and up and up, so they can't keep doing ridiculous thing like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go jerk off in the bathroom," and then pass the fuck out.
Yeah,
which was hilarious, and I would love to see more of that, but they don't.
Yeah, it's kind of like you talked about, right? Like this has the smell of an SNL skit, right? Like there's only so long you can stretch that silly putty,
and 8 episodes is too long.
Yeah.
Personally, Brian,
it's a little bit. I finished it out today. I think was a little bit too long, although like the whole thing was like 7 episodes, and then 8th episode they started like going into it.
Yeah, the 7th, like the beginning of the 8th is like them telling him he was on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
Then, sorry,
no, I don't care. No, it's fine. Yeah.
It's not, and then they go into like how they fooled him, and I had to turn it off because this is what I don't like about Space Cadets is like I don't want to see you fooling this guy, and like the first clip is of them like laughing hysterically in the producers when he says, "Oh, just say something racist to get out of it," and they're just laughing at this guy, and I'm like, yeah, I mean it's funny, but like I don't know.
That's not like really like a good joke anymore.
No,
like,
I understand in the moment, like you're laughing because like, oh, I can't believe you said that. It's gonna be great. We could play off that. That's way funnier than when I'm like, oh, I don't know if you should have said that.
But especially a show like that, you got to do it repeat times for the edit, right? The reactions, like you gotta hit.
Like I'm just saying that part of the show I felt was mean, so I didn't watch that.
I mean, I primarily now watch that show. One, his own reactions, but yeah, I agree. There's probably you can tell kind of he picks up on like this is a little too weird. But that woman comedian, the one who played like the young girl comedian, she's like amazing in that show.
The young girl, the one that tries to get the other guy.
Yeah.
She's good.
She's very funny.
Yeah, when she was on the show, she was good, but she's like, I think the last like 3 episodes were just like really boring.
Yeah,
Just
I,
like
I love watching her and the old woman. Like they're my favorite actors by far. They're
I just
hilarious.
think like it's called jury duty. Brian, did you get what the fuck this trial was doing? Like I didn't
Well,
like
that
Like,
I didn't really understand what the trial was about.
I mean, I understood the trial, and I was like, started picking up. Oh
Like
yeah,
you got
there's
like bits and pieces of like he like I still don't like he let something burn down or something burn or something. Like I don't even know what he did.
no. You supposedly damaged a bunch of merchandise by like being drunk and like peeing on it,
yes.
but yeah, there's like a whole lot of like pieces of evidence that like come out.
That's the worst part of the show. The trial is not a great lawsuit. Like it's not. There's a rich woman supposedly suing a broke ass guy for almost $2 million. Like it's like what? How are you gonna claw this money back? Right? Like it's and then for them to be sequestered for that type of trial, like that's where it really like they start off on a bad premise. I really wish they did a lawsuit that had more gravitas to it.
And
But
was actually funny.
I mean,
Like
I'll just finish it
it's
and see what's
like
up.
it's supposed to be somewhat of a like they tee it up as a comedy. They like the first thing they do is have the guy like say I'm going to jerk off in the bathroom. Like they're teeing off the guy. Like if it's not a comedy, it's real boring.
Yeah, they had to do some other kind of lawsuit though. That was like I think if you had some like adultery mix, maybe they do later down the line. Like they kind of alluded to some of the women's like sexual things going on so far in the season for where I'm at. But yeah, I think that was a huge miss.
Yeah, stuff I was reading online like said that it kind of was like The Office combined with reality TV, and thinking back to like episode 1, like definitely fits them.
Yeah, episode 1 was really funny. Like we
It-
all liked episode 1. It was
Yeah,
just like by episode 5 or 6, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not-
Well, the writers and I think producers are the Office people.
Oh, well, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, it's like because even like the shaky camera, right? Like shake and zoom in and all that
Yep.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'd be glad if they took another shot at this, right? Maybe not in the jury format, but more reality / office mixture thing.
All right. Anyone got any shout outs before we get out of here? Brian?
That was gonna be my shout out, the jury duty, and like discuss that.
Yeah. That's my shout out too.
I got
Noah?
I got shouts. I don't know if I ever shouted out Acquired, the podcast.
The podcast? Jeez,
Yeah, it's a podcast.
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 Not podcast.
Acquired the podcast. It's definitely my currently favorite podcast.
Who put this on as on your favorite?
I'm on it, so of course. But yeah, Acquired's great. If you guys don't know about it, really good like business history. Yeah, I really enjoy that. And then I'm gonna give a shout out to Dave. Dave is back, season 3.
Oh, I need to catch up.
Little Dicky. He kind of continues. Like Dave is just kind of this weird show in a sense that you feel similar to Nathan For You. You don't know if Dave is playing Dave or some character, and like the mixture of the two. The first season you really felt like you're watching a joke, and now he gets very deep and complex emotional things. But it's enjoyable to watch. Episode 5 I think dropped at midnight yesterday, so that's great. But it also is they're not dropping everything at once, which is like give me it immediately.
You can just wait.
We could, yeah. It's kind of weird though, because like Dave is based off this rapper, Little Dicky, right?
Mm-hmm.
That Dave Bird, that's his rapper persona, but he doesn't make music anymore. And he hasn't released a song, I don't think, since he made the show.
He's got nothing else to say.
It's just kind of interesting, right? Like he makes a show about this rapper, Little Dicky, but doesn't rap anymore. He just makes TV.
He's a big Hollywood actor director now.
I guess so. Like, but it's a show on FX, right? Like it's definitely a Hollywood show. I'll say that, right? Like, definitely in Hollywood. I'm sure people are like, oh, it's Dave. It's Hollywood.
Dave.
It's Dave.
It's
And it's a
Dave.
great show. It's very well done. But yeah, if you're not watching Dave, you haven't caught up on Dave.
You're not living. Don't talk to me. All right.
Don't talk to you. Why not?
No, you. I was imitating you. I'm
like
not caught up.
people.
It's been on my list, but you know, I just started Mrs. Davis, which is the new Damon Lindelof show, which I was a big fan of Watchmen and Lost, and Leftovers was really good. So I'm giving this a shot.
That's
and
Paramount.
It's on Peacock. Peacock. I can't recommend it quite yet. It's really high concept sci-fi where there's like an AI and you put like a earpiece in, and it's kind of like, it's almost like AI combined with like some sort of mobile game where like everyone wants to earn credits in this mobile game, but you do what the AI says to do. So the AI has like a lot of power because people will do what the AI wants to like earn like random shit. Which like that's the concept is really like that's interesting as they like slow burn into that. Because the show starts off with like this nun and she won't talk to this AI. You don't really know what her relationship is with the AI, and then you kind of like figure it out.
Yeah, I saw Peacock advertising that to me. There's just not that much on Peacock. Like, I go there for SNL. I don't go there.
I feel like there's more than I was expecting.
Really?
There's Young Rock, which I thought is pretty good.
Is that worth watching?
I like it. I think it's pretty fun to binge because you get to see different like eras of Dwayne Johnson's life.
Oh, is that how it works? Like they jump between episodes?
Yeah. So one episode, like he'll be like, like 7 or 8. The next episode will be like in high school, and then the next episode will be in college. And like now we're at the end of season 3, we're like at his like wrestling career, and some other, like he just keeps moving on.
Does he actually? Is he featured in it? Or
yeah, there's like a overarching like story that they cut in and out like each episode where he's in it. So like he's like running for president in one of the seasons. So I think first 2 seasons he's like running for president, and then the third season he's like out he's doing something else.
So he doesn't like narrate a clip. It's like a storyline.
No, yeah, it's the premise of the show is Dwayne Johnson is talking to somebody and telling this story about his life.
Interesting. Okay. I feel like I like him a lot, and like now I feel like I totally missed out on this huge part of probably.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's still renewed for season 4, so you can watch all 3 seasons.
Young Rock
on Peacock.
It seems realistic he could be president based on how shit has gone.
I mean, you can find out what happens.
Do you think he'll be president?
He runs for president.
No, but like real world, like we have Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't. It's seen Schwarzenegger, California, Jesse Ventura, Minnesota. Obviously,
I mean, it just doesn't seem like something he wants. But other than, I mean, he's in the show running for president, so maybe it is like in his long view. I don't know.
Does he run as a Democrat, a Republican, or the Rock Party?
I don't remember. There's also a bunch of movies on there, like Puss in Boots, Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, I saw Cocaine Bear came out there. That was Get Out was on there, and we saw that. That was good.
Yeah, there's some movies on there. Anyway, I'm over it. Let's get out of here. You can find us on Twitter at @WhoPutThisOn. Tell us what you thought about this show. You can on Facebook.com/WhoPutThisOn. Email us questions and suggestions at WhoPutThisOn@gmail.com. We'll see you guys next time.